That'll do. That'll do nicely, thank you very much. Right, I'm Tim, this is Egg Chasers, and here's my immediate thoughts after watching England versus Chile, which I watched in the media area just downstairs at the Stade de France. And this will be my view for the match a little bit later. You can already see, bearing in mind, there's still a long way to go till kickoff. There's a bunch of fans already in the stadium. 4 hours before the game, when I got here, because I wanted to make sure I watched the England game, there was tons of people getting off the metro stop. Sea green everywhere you go in Paris. It's been brilliant. But how good do you feel if you're an England fan right now? Or if you're not an England fan and you're watching England, how do you feel about England as a potential opponent in a quarter or semi-final? Because I imagine if you're an England fan, you feel a lot better about England. I certainly do right now. And you're more wary of England. Now they've shown another side to their game, something which we've been hoping that they would show for a little while. And the context of this handsome victory against Chile is that it's Chile, the lowest ranked team in the competition, but you can only beat what's in front of you. But actually, finally we saw some of the ambition from England that we've been craving. And it was great to see. And I guess let's start with the selections straight away, which were talked about before the game. Marcus Smith at 15, Owen Farrell at 10. And then there was a period of about half an hour when it was George Ford at 10, Owen Farrell at 12, and Marcus Smith at 15. On all counts, it appeared from where I was watching, tell me what you think in the comments, it worked. I thought, I'm obviously going to talk about Marcus Smith and Henry Arundell, because they were, they were the sort of headline grabbers from that game. I thought Owen Farrell was excellent. He just did the basics really, really well. Sometimes some of the stuff in a game like that doesn't get celebrated, kicks that manage to find grass, tactical kicks from inside his own half that just bobble 1 metre from the Chile line. Those are the things which in a big match really transfer and can apply pressure to an opposition. But yeah, let's get straight to Marcus Smith, who he looked liberated in the 15 jersey. Now, I've never doubted that he's an exceptional rugby player. You see that when he plays for his club. The skills he's got, the acceleration, the raw attributes and the rugby brain he's got is brilliant. He's never quite looked like that other than in flashes when he's been wearing the 10 jersey for England. I don't necessarily think that fullback will be his long-term position, but there is an argument that it gives him that little bit more time to be able to do the things that he is great at. And maybe against top, again, this is against Chile, so it's all in context. But that little extra time, which I know when England did play Smith at 10 and Farrell at 12, they quite often made Farrell the first receiver and tried to get Smith getting the ball out the back. They tried that quite a lot, and it was quite a long time we persisted with Smith 10, Farrell 12. It didn't really work. For some reason in this game, and again the context maybe it's Chile, but it seemed to be that Smith was able to get the ball in time and just do really damaging, devastating things. So I was really, really pleased about that. And when you think about the points that England got, they didn't score any points for the first, nearly 20 minutes, 15 minutes, wasn't it, before the dam burst? At first you were thinking, here we go again. But when you actually think of the points they scored in those 60, 65 minutes, that's really positive. Because Chile looked pretty handy in their previous games. Obviously the lowest ranked team in the tournament, but they were put to the sword and it looked like a team that knew what they were doing. I was sort of, the first 15 minutes you sort of went, oh no, here we go, is this England again? And then the rest of it is like, hold on, does Steve Borthwick know they're doing this? Is he okayed this? Or have the players just gone rogue and done what they want to do? Because they were just having a crack from everywhere. 5 tries in that first half. There was touchline conversions from Owen Farrell, another transferable factor when it comes to big knockout games, which is really important. But yeah, Marcus Smith doing Marcus Smith things. Henry Arundell finally doing Henry Arundell things. Just on the Owen Farrell's got a new kicking technique. If you noticed, he pulls his shorts right up so you can kind of see his quads a little bit. I like that. If you're going to work on your quads in the gym, let people see them. And on that, the French TV directors absolutely loved Henry Arundell's legs. We had slow-mos of Arundell's quads. But he did a lot of things that will make the highlight reel. We've seen ridiculous skills from Henry Arundell. It's awesome to see that on an international stage. 5 tries for him. And as it currently stands, he won't be eligible to play for England in the years ahead because he's going to be playing in Paris for Racing 92, and that will make him ineligible. So I imagine that rule will probably change because you want this guy in an England jersey, don't you? Has Henry Arundell done enough to get an England jersey for the next game against Samoa and then the quarter-final? I mentioned that the wing is one of the few positions on the field today that I think the players were genuinely playing for a starting spot in a quarter-final. And Henry Arundell, has he done enough to make that spot his? It's a very different scenario playing against Chile to playing against the quarter-final team. So I still think Henry Arundell might end up being in the number 23 jersey, but you can't knock him. His first couple of tries were just walk-ins. The skill for the little chip, some of his footwork on the other tries was just awesome. Absolutely awesome. And back to the Smith-Farrell Ford thing. I do think there's some merit in it, you know, all 3 of them being on the field at the same time. But if that were to happen, what do you do with Freddie Stewart? And again, I might be talking about this more in the last 20-30 minutes of a game rather than to start. But if it was to be from the start, then could Freddie Stewart play on the wing? We've seen Argentina do that with Emiliano Buffelli. They have to get him in because he's first and foremost a really good player, but an amazing goal kicker as well. But they obviously don't think he's the best fullback available to them, Malia, so they play Buffelli on the wing. Is there an argument for Stewart on the wing? Or is Clive Woodward actually right about something and Freddie Stewart could make an international 12? It would solve a lot of England's issues in looking forward, wouldn't it? We don't seem to have many good inside centres. Freddie Stewart's a big old boy, kind of Geordie Barrett stature. Maybe there's something in that, but Marcus Smith as a 15, I'm quite excited by at international level, where defences are that much quicker, the time you get is that much lower, and at international level, Marcus Smith hasn't been able to translate his Harlequins form to England shirt, but he was doing things that we see in the Premiership in an England jersey, and that was awesome to see. And when Ford, Farrell and Smith were on, it sort of looked like, I think the word I used earlier was liberated, didn't I, with Marcus Smith? Owen Farrell and George Ford were doing quite a lot of defensive work. Owen Farrell was doing lots of the nuts and bolts stuff that you have to do at international rugby. And yeah, as I say, Smith just appeared liberated to me. I also want to say that I think in other areas of the England team, and I am talking mainly about England here, because, well, let me give a little bit of dues to Chile. They never gave up. They found life really hard. Their commitment to mullets is outstanding, and you know, rugby love a mullet more than any other sport. So fair play Chile for doing your bit for mullets, and also one of the props with the comb over. Massive commitment to your hairstyle there as well. So great for that. They've been a joy to watch. Not a great day for them today. They got well and truly outclassed. Another thing just on the game in general that I think is relevant, and it's relevant to the game we're going to see here at the Stade de France, is Jaco Piper, a Southern Hemisphere referee, was very, very loose at the breakdown. I talked about this on the video earlier. Southern Hemisphere refs are generally very, very loose at the breakdown, and that could favour South Africa, and it's something that teams both ways, Northern Hemisphere and Southern Hemisphere teams, have got to manage when they come up against referees who manage games in ways they're not totally used to. And Jaco Piper confirmed that. He let a lot go at the breakdown. There were times when it looked to me like Chile players had their hands on the ball for a good couple of seconds and no pen. So that on a broader point just confirms to me that managing and reacting to how officials seek things and interpret the laws is massively important. And yeah, fair play, England did that. Another thing, judging from the WhatsApp groups, I'm not missing the Tenor Men adult nappy adverts on the UK TV, but I am missing an advert that I would like to watch by the sound of it. Everyone's been talking about Samuel L. Jackson doing a Warburton's bread advert. Samuel L. Jackson advertising toast is Henry Arundell scoring 5 tries, England playing really attacking rugby, and Samuel L. Jackson advertising toast. This is a strange world I've woken up in today, and I'm here for it. Oh, and on that same WhatsApp group where I found out about that, after 15 minutes and England hadn't scored, one of the messages was, even against Chile, England are all fart and no poo, which I quite enjoyed. As it turned out, England did roll the dice a little bit and looked pretty good. And what was I going to talk about? I can't remember now. I think I've probably covered everything else off, haven't I? Oh yeah, England's conditioning looks really good. They look really fit and good to go. Yeah, I'm fascinated. I'd love to know what the Samoa selection is going to be. Will Steve Borthwick treat this as a one-off free hit and then go back to what they did before? Or will he incorporate some of what we saw today into Samoa building to a quarter-final? I hope it's the latter. If I was a betting man, I'd bet on the former. But possibly what we saw today against Chile is going to be the plan B that they've got in their back pocket for the last half an hour of a game. And do you know what? I'm okay with that as well. I just enjoyed watching that game a lot more than I have done England previous games. Still don't think we're going to win a World Cup, so why not entertain people watching at home, entertain the rugby public around the world, make kids want to go out in the back garden and imagine being Henry Arundell or Marcus Smith and just have a crack. And yeah, that was good. That was a lovely little aperitif before the main event, which is Allez le Vert. And I'm wearing my green top today, as you can see, but we've still got a long way to go, and the fans are already getting into the stadium. This is going to be wild. I'll be back on the channel with more videos. If you enjoyed this one and you appreciate the content, please hit subscribe, give it the thumbs up, and I will see you on the next video.